go. So welcome everybody to our June age-friendly Millinocket meeting. June, did I say June?
Yes,
oh my
you said
gosh,
June.
I should
January.
put me in place. Yeah, so right. June, yeah, you guys are talking about the snow. I've gotten rid of that. We've already had our snow days. Here we are in June, January. So the minutes from our December meeting had gone out, and I don't know if you've had a chance to look at them, but just if there was any corrections. I didn't receive any back, so I'll assume that's okay to post to the town website. And I had sent out an agenda, which you all have, and then just a few minutes ago, in true fashion, I sent out a document that I've been working on up until prior to the start of the meeting that we'll talk about when we talk about the grant opportunity that I also have on the agenda. But since we are in January and not in June, Robin, and I've got Robin back. So Robin, last year, I'll just refresh people when she comes on and, you know, works with me through the winter months, and she headed up the planning for Snowdown for us, and she's slid right into that role again this year, which I'm very thankful. So I will turn it over to you. We'll have some initial discussions here, but you've also set another meeting date later in the week.
So Thursday is really going to be our first meeting date of the Snowdown on the 11th. I've checked with Katahdin Gear Library. They're planning on, I know that Bailey isn't able to make it on the 11th, but they're planning on participating. I do have questions. Can I ask Tom a question right now? Tom, the grill, does that belong to the Millinocket Fire Department? The grill?
The grill belongs to Pioneer Host Company. They've got a
Pioneer
meeting
Host.
tonight, so I will make sure that they, that we can borrow it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because I was trying to get a hold of John, Cody, because I just have some questions about, you know, the big bonfire and whatnot. So, so I do need, I found out I need a budget. And because we haven't really had our meeting, I don't know who's going to be able to donate what, but if nothing is donated, I came up with about $800. I don't think it's going to cost that, but if it's available, I mean, if we have it in the budget, that would be great. If not, but we might not have to use, that's including wood, hot chocolate, marshmallows, everything. So, but, and that's just because we haven't had a meeting yet.
Yeah, Robin, as long as we can get the age-friendly committee to approve a budget, if it's $800, that doesn't mean we have to spend all that, but we
Right.
have to approve that and then take it to, you know, so that we can have that money available to come out of it.
We added a line during the budget process last year, so we have nice $3,000 in the line for other committee expenses, so we can just, that already has council approval, we can spend. And don't spend $3,000, but you know.
No.
Right.
And we might not even have to, I mean, I felt
But
bad.
it
I'm
like doesn't need to
gosh,
go to the
800,
council.
but we might not even need that, you know.
No, it doesn't need to go to the council, but we need to see.
Oh.
We need to anticipate
Have a
that we
consensus.
could be using $800 out of that. So that if other committees want to use monies, we know what's there.
And
Okay.
preferably, they would be tax exempt purchases made by a town employee, so that we don't have to reimburse and go through all that sort of stuff.
Okay, and I can talk to Amber about that, right?
Yep. Yeah, and depending on what it is, we have tax exempt status at local places and also Amazon, so we should be.
Okay, all right, good. So anyways, if anybody didn't receive an email, but I am having a meeting on the 11th at 10 a.m. here. So I can get that going. And that's,
So there are other things that you want to talk about?
you know, a lot of it is just, I think after I have my meeting on
Okay.
Thursday,
Okay.
again, it's just, yeah, just trying to get
Okay.
the wood, you know, what is going to be able to be, somebody can
Provide,
donate or
yeah.
provide, yeah.
And you just said it was February. We'll just have it-
Okay, February 18th, 1 to 4. And there is one thing, I don't know, maybe Tom or Peter, mats are so important down there at the ice rink between the rink and the warming hut. And that was an issue last year. Is that gonna be up to the rec department to provide, or at least look into getting mats?
For skates.
That's a rec department thing. I mean, if we found some monies for it, that'd be great, but it's the rec department that has to do something there.
Should already be there.
And that was the deal we had last year. We've got to do something so that they can not walk on tar with those skates, because they're gonna ruin the skates.
Right.
Yeah, I think between Jody and even Nick Cullen, the athletic department, have discussed it. I'll try to get an update on that.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay. So thank you, Robin, and for those that are going to attend on Thursday to get more of this planning in progress. So what I had sent out by email, I sent some information about a grant opportunity that I received in my inbox, but it's a partnership with Hannaford and the Maine Council on Aging. And so for those in the room, I have paper documents and I had sent everybody the attachment just before we get started. Yeah, some of you have it printed out. So there's an opportunity, the Maine Council on Aging has, is it 1.2 million? I should look at my own notes. They have some money available for communities that live with a Hannaford nearby, for folks to put in application for projects to deal with food insecurity. Can be very unique to our community. So this, I just wanted to have this initial discussion because I think it's an opportunity that we need to do something with. We just need to narrow it down. I know through the hospital, through Thrive Penobscot, I have an opportunity to apply, but any nonprofit here locally, you know, it could be the town, it could be the library, it could be churches, could apply for some funding based on this application. So yesterday, Robin and I came and met at the library with Dawn and Nicole, and we did some brainstorming and thought a good place to start was actually to look at all the food resources we have in the community. And that's what, not the first page, but the second, third, and fourth pages, I just started a document to like inventory what we have here so that we could identify some gaps. So you'll see that I, you know, listed the food pantries we know that we have, you know, that we're aware of, any of the community programs that I'm aware of, you know, Eastern Area Agency on Aging, Meals on Wheels, their community cafe, you know, they have this doorstop dining. A lot of people don't know about it. I've just cut and pasted information from their website on there, and the food commodity program, which is a federal program. There's a lot of people in the community. We see those boxes. And so the other thing that, you know, was brought up that we know peer-to-peer has the grab and go meals. I believe that they've started them again. Need to find out for sure. I don't know how long that lasts. I think that's grant funded as well. You know, we talked about like the Timber Cruiser sometimes has like community meals, and I just put stuff like that down because they're pretty low cost as opposed to going to a restaurant to order food. And a lot of times people get takeout. And for some older folks, one meal is actually two meals because it's enough food. So it's just another way to think about like what's available. And I know they're pre-cooked meals, so that appeals to a lot of folks. So I didn't, excuse me, and on the last page, it's what Millinocket Regional Hospital, how we have with our food shelves, the little food sort of pantry, the goods that we have at the three patient waiting areas, and that our the Mainers Feeding Maine program that we participate in, and Senior Farm Share. And we know Hannaford has the food rescue program. They provide food to pantries. So if anybody on this call knows of other food sources, food programs in the region to add to the list. The school, yep. And I have that as far as the school, yeah, on the first page, under food pantries, I mentioned that there's a school food pantry. So this can be like an ongoing list, an inventory for us. to really examine. We're not going to do it today. I just want to start the conversation, but to know, I've listed in the comment section what the barriers are. And we've talked about it before because we know food pantries are only open either once a week, you know, twice a month, like, or once every other week, once a month, the food distribution. So, and as John said, you know, you're hungry every single day. People need food every single day, and
Closed
you know,
around the holidays.
yep,
Also.
and closed around the holidays. Yep. So we could spend a lot of time filling in, like, okay, what are the barriers, or what of some of the, you know, some of those things that you had just said. So, yeah, so I'm rambling on saying all this, so I'm interested in thoughts on this opportunity, and I know probably not everybody's had a chance to look at it, but there's actually 2 grant opportunities here. They do have one that's a competitive piece where you're asking for funding. And there's also a pilot project, and I was contacted with the Maine Council on Aging because we've done so much work with them, and they're interested in working with us on a pilot project. And specifically, Jess Mauer had said to me, she knows, because she's connected to Hannaford, that Hannaford, and I know this personally, locally, they have food that's going to waste every single day. There's not somebody to pick it up. And so she's asked me, like, how can you solve that problem in your community so that there's the food is getting to people that Hannaford has to offer. And so I'm hoping with this group that we can start perhaps like a work group to tackle that. And if we remember in our age-friendly plan, we have in there perhaps to start a food council. And I think that might be a good place for us to convene people. And we talked about this yesterday, John, that's a great idea. We need to bring people to the table to talk about this, anybody and everybody that's interested in solving this problem for our community. Do you want to go ahead and, I know you and Nicole, I know I'm putting you on the spot. I don't want to be the one to keep talking, but the community covers, like, we kind of brainstorm what a pilot project might look like.
Yeah.
If we.
Yeah, okay, so I'll take that. Yeah, so amongst other things, we discussed that, you know, there are some significant gaps in how people can get food in the community. And so in the hopes of addressing that, you know, wanting to get some kind of organizational stakeholders together as like a food council. And amongst others, this would probably include many of the faith leaders in the Tri-Town area. Because many of those churches are either already offering some variety of food pantry or at least have some small something available. And it'd be nice to get everybody on the same page. And from more of like the library's side of things, we're looking at offering a number of sort of preventative programs throughout the year that help give people access to information about different resources that are available to them. And as an aspect of that, we'd like to host 2 community conversations through the year. And those would be on different topics, but it seems that this food insecurity issue would be a really wonderful topic to have a community conversation on. And so really that mostly would be comprised of inviting members of the community together to sort of have a, if you will, a little bit of a town hall on the matter. What have people experienced? What do people see? And then whatever ideas people have, and see if from that we can perhaps draw other volunteers and folks that would perhaps be interested in working with the proposed food council. So that would be my summation of the discussion.
Other people have thoughts on that idea.
I can just concur that it's a great idea, and getting on the same page as you referred, particularly the ones that are already doing this, that would be extremely helpful to have them collaborate at least on their schedules and resources.
And cross promoting
Mhm.
what each other is doing at the very
Mhm.
least, or sharing information, you know, kind of along that spectrum of collaboration. It'd be great if we had a unified food pantry of the region, but you know, that maybe
Yeah.
that's a few years away, but at least getting them to share information. Yeah, I love the idea of some kind of community conversation that would engage, you know, affected individuals too, so that they can share their needs. And I wasn't in the meeting yesterday, but I actually was talking to Tracy Perry from the collaborative.
Okay.
About something similar yesterday. And her thought was trying to host more community meals. Where people can come together, free community meals
Yes.
or even potluck style things where people can talk about issues that matter, such as food insecurity and other things. So that may also be like a low barrier way to
Yeah.
bring people like literally around the table to talk about
Absolutely.
something like this. So
So along that line, because like when John said we could do something at the library, but I was trying to think of another community place where people would come, and maybe someplace like the Elks or the Timber Crew, like for
Mhm.
community meal to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I think it's gonna take more than one, and you need different venues where people feel comfortable going.
yeah.
Um,
And the socialization too, I
Yeah.
think is a big part of that,
Yeah.
people getting out.
And you'll see in here, they specifically say they want this funding to go towards, like solving the problem, including the socialization and bringing people together around food. So I'm happy to be the one like to frame up a grant application for a pilot for this region to do this. But no, there's enough money there for other community groups to do so too. So I don't know, maybe it does start with me trying to like frame something up and then, oh, do we need something to support that? Or can one ask be enough to cover it all, sort of?
Yeah, that would be my question, is it
Yeah.
more letters of support that you would need
Okay.
versus more than one entity going for the same money and competing against each other?
Yeah, like would they fund more
Yes.
than one in this area, or do you think it would be?
And it
Sorry, I
says,
haven't seen the
yeah,
details
no,
yet.
and it says right in here, that actually organizations can apply for more than one grant, but it needs to be a distinctly different project
Hmm.
that you're applying for. So within those, as I'm trying to think about like what the narrative would look like, obviously we can set that, we know the need, we absolutely know the need, and that from the community perspective, we're looking to solve this problem. And so I just know going forward, we're just really gonna have to be like, it's so huge, it's such a big project. It's so huge. So we'll just have to really think about, working with our systems that we have in place.
I'm kind of curious what you think, Andrew, if you're there, just with all of your experience in this area.
Don't know if he knows we're there.
If you can come on,
Come in.
yeah, if you can come on camera, yeah.
Maybe oh, there he is.
Uh,
Sorry.
Yeah.
to go on
Sorry,
spot.
guys, I'm just trying to multitask here while we're having the meeting. There's definitely I like the food council idea, because there's definitely a need throughout the community. Especially with a lot of the older adults. I feel like, as far as Meals on Wheels go, we're not reaching nearly the number of people that need that program or would benefit from it. If you guys were able to hear all that.
We did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes me wonder how much of this is like a marketing piece too, of also just, promoting what's already there and outreach efforts and things like
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
I think marketing for Meals on Wheels would be very important, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions as to what the meal really is, what's provided there. But I also think, unfortunately, there's a lot of pride with people. They don't want to admit that they could use a little more help than what they are receiving. I'm seeing that through my adult protective casework right now, as I told you, I'm multitasking. But with a lot of the seniors, there's definitely a big issue of pride. If they feel they don't need the help, they're not going to ask for it, even if they truly could use it.
So in shaping up a proposal, we have these community meetings, we established a food council. All right, let me back up. Who should be on the food council? So we know food pantry directors, right? faith-based community, who needs to be invited, you know, we'll see who we can bring to the table for some conversations.
I think churches.
Yeah, the faith.
Who do we have for a church that has a food pantry other than the Catholic Church? I don't know of any.
Tri-Town Baptist.
Down
Yeah,
East
I mean
Millinocket.
in Millinocket.
Millinocket.
I believe Herschel still has a food pantry down at
Yeah.
his.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay, but not through Good Shepherd, right?
right.
Correct.
Not through Good Shepherd. There's the one at the school,
yeah.
which
on my
is
list.
Good Shepherd affiliated.
Yep,
Katie.
yep.
I got hauled in one, they want to know, Wayne Ross.
I did send Sally Saucier an email to meet with her, and she hasn't got back to me. She was gonna look at her schedule, because we definitely need Hannaford at the table. So as far as Hannaford, in the past, when we did have a food council, we involved the credit union in the bank, because they do so much fundraising for this
For-
sort of
yeah.
thing. So definitely we'll go back to, you know, the credit union and Bangor Savings. I didn't, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, both the Masons and the Knights of Columbus would likely be interested in being involved.
Okay,
I can't speak for the Elks, but
yep. We can put it, the ask.
community-based.
Yeah, we can put the request out there. Does anybody know of like, we don't, if you know of individuals that this is sort of like near and dear to their heart, let me know too, because sometimes an individual, yeah, Michelle. Uh-huh,
And I have community hours I can put towards it as well.
okay. And we'll have to pull Tracy, like what you said, pull Tracy Perry in from the collaborative.
Our resource navigator.
Absolutely.
It goes without saying.
Yep. And I know you had started to say, because the Congregational Church in East Millinocket, you shared with us that they have a little food pantry as
A
well.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What about somebody up at the hospital, the social worker up there?
we can see if
Like
she has,
Marie
if
or
Marie has
if-
time available.
What she
yeah.
sees for
Mhm.
issues.
Perhaps someone from the American Legion might be interested.
Do we have like contact list or does any,
Dale Hayes, the plumber, but.
so I guess we'll have to just have to have another little meeting and try to figure out how to do that outreach and who has what
Mhm.
contact information.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this winter and spring, John and Nicole are gonna be doing some outreach anyway to kind of
Yes.
make sure we have up-to-date info on some of these groups, so it might be
Okay.
possible we could kill two
Stack
birds
eggs
with
in
one
one
stone, is
stone,
that the
yeah,
right,
there you go.
the wrong
So,
phrase here?
I know.
We'll pretend it was a
The
game bird,
compass.
it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Patrick.
Okay.
Their community conversations, that one, should that go like, should that be first? Do you know what I mean? Like,
We'll have to figure out like the flow of things.
do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Just, you might be able to get.
It
more-
might shape the proposal too and bring
Right.
new people into the fold, but
So I think, feel free to shoot this down, but I think it'd be a good idea to like kind of start the formation of the food council. And then by the time that we have the community conversation, let it be known, hey, these are the folks that are already signed up that want to help, are motivated. Would you like to be one of them? And then we can draw more people perhaps from the community conversation, get them on that food council and kind of make it a little bit more of a robust thing, and then move forward with that working group on what the proposals are.
Watch, imagine. Yeah, you want to put that down? Do
Yeah.
you want to write the proposal? There we go. There we go. We'll work together. This will be a collaborative effort and to figure out. And I know some of when I was looking at some of the funding, it can't go towards like infrastructure, like staff time. So I did read that somewhere in here. Yeah, I can't find it right now, but yeah, so this is something we'll definitely be working on, and it'll be a priority this year. So there will be some follow-up, so stay tuned for anybody that's listening and that's interested in this. good start on this conversation. So if we were to move on to member updates. Are there any?
Snow down meeting
I
Thursday
know,
at 10
I
a.m.
Yeah.
Say that again, Robin. What time is that meeting?
10 a.m. on Thursday.
Awesome. Okay.
So it's just an in-person, you didn't send out a
Yeah, I
Zoom link,
didn't,
so it's
it's
just
not a
in-person
Zoom one,
here.
it's just an in-person right here.
Okay, good to know.
I feel like my updates are like underbaked, but I can
Oh, that's
share
fine, yeah.
a few. I always forget this is a part of the meetings.
That's fine.
As John mentioned, we are planning out preventative programs throughout the year. So we did kind of look at, here are the needs that we've seen at each point in the year, you know, in past experience, and, you know, trying to do things again, like the Penquist LIHEAP sign-up sessions, you know, things around tax season, regarding identifying frauds and scams, you know, just trying to time everything based on when we're seeing those needs, possibly even doing like open enrollment assistance. So if you have like an idea that you're really passionate about or a need that you've seen that could be addressed by a preventative program, it's not necessarily that every time we're going to be like owning that, but we want to help lift it up and make it happen. So John's probably the best person to let know about that. And similarly, if you have another community conversation type idea, let us know. Let's see. This is the underbaked part.
okay.
We are also trying to figure out basically what collaborative initiatives, projects, and programs we want to get involved in. And I have a whole list. I won't go through that list. But basically some of the ideas that keep coming up from the age-friendly plan, you know, there's this whole idea about the handy helpers. There's the idea of the food council, which we're getting into, and we definitely want to play a role in helping lift up. We're trying to figure out like what parts of that age-friendly plan both make sense for the library and our mission, and make sense in terms of timing right now, and makes sense for the age-friendly committee. So if anyone has ideas, again, of like something that has all that overlap, we're trying to figure out what that's going to look like for the next year, which I think brings me back to something that's come up before of, we have the age-friendly plan, but is there like a priority list of this is what really needs to be tackled first, or this is what's ripe to address right now? Yeah, we could use input on where to put our energy, I think. So that's my update.
All right, so you don't need to know right now the priority list. I did. You'll be happy to know I did bring
Yay.
the plan though, but no, I just really appreciate the library as a solid partner to do this work. And so, you know, this funding that we were just talking about, like, I'm not sure how you're gonna do some of your planning or some of your meetings if you want food to be involved. I mean, there's a funding source if you were like to have meetings and refreshments and bring food around. I mean, there's another opportunity potentially to and promotion of that to like go after some of that funding. Okay. Any other things? So
I just had as always, a barrier of getting information out there and assuming that everybody knows about certain things. I just learned of it because of my dad helping him, but it's $30 off your internet bill. Is there any way to get that out?
Affordable connectivity program.
Yeah.
Yeah, very chronically under marketed.
Underutilized, yes.
Yeah, there is a class that the National Digital Equity Center, the partner we work with for our computer programs, they do it on how to sign up for that. And that might be one that we could schedule more frequently, or, you know, promote or record and share that. It's something that we can certainly help people with if they come in here. It's relatively simple to get signed up, but
they'd have to know about it.
they have to know
First, I guess
first. So
yeah.
it's like, where to?
so is that one time $30 off?
No,
or
it's
$30
No,
a
it's
month?
ongoing.
Oh my
Really?
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, you know,
Is it like
On a
age
fixed
based?
income.
It's fixed income, age based, or?
disability, veteran, age, yeah, there was a small list of qualifiers, but
Yeah, we've talked about that, like how to get more information out.
That $30 can make a big difference.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I wonder how to draw people in, because I found that framing something as an info session is not appealing to people, but
Yeah. You have to.
but people
offer
are
them
into
timesharing
saving
or
money.
something.
Yeah. So maybe it's want to save $30 every
A
month?
Every month.
Dot,
Every
dot,
month, that's a big thing for every month.
Yeah.
Well, just throwing it out there.
How'd your dad find out about it? Just,
I called the Beeline company. Oh, sorry, I called the cable company and questioned the amount of the bill. And then she was kind enough to direct it to me, told me exactly what to do, and within 10 minutes, he was all set at $30 less.
and that's for the state of Maine?
In
I'm
any,
just wondering about
oh my
dad.
goodness, yeah, so
We could
here,
share out the link afterwards.
okay,
So
yeah.
at least people have that, or maybe you're already on it.
It's getacp.org. but yeah, can
and
get
I
it out
wonder,
there.
like, I know even just through our Thrive Facebook page and stuff, we're not very active. It's Robin and I, are the ones who might post or forward something, so, yeah, we need to do a better,
priority to
do a better job.
And I think
of
we
it.
all assume that everybody's heard it, seen it, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing, so.
But does it
Forget
take
about it.
somebody like the resource net, like, does it,
Hmm.
for help to like filling that out? And like you said, at the library, you've offered that before, so.
Yeah, we've offered that class a couple times and no one comes.
I've seen it, but
But I-
I've just never thought it would.
I think it's
really
clunky, you know,
pertain-
affordable
yeah.
connectivity, but people don't really
Probably
get
sounds
what that
complicated, yeah.
Right.
means. Yeah, so maybe it's a marketing thing again, but.
Cheap internet.
Yeah.
Let us help you. Yeah.
And you don't, and the probably misconception would be that they have to change internet providers, and they don't. If their internet is already aligned with this program, then it's just a simple sign up.
All right, so there's a lot, I mean, there's so many things that we could be working on as far as getting information out.
That's a whole working group under
That is a
itself.
whole working group, yep. And that was something else, and like you said, it was sort of in our work, I mean, we've
Yeah.
recognized that for a long time, and we've known that. But Diana, you had mentioned it too, it's like, how do you get information out so people understand it, or just like, oh, that could help me, or that they will act on it instead of.
How do we build
Yeah.
those systems of cross promoting and just, you know, some people, different organizations have learned lessons about what's working and what's not with marketing here, and how can we at least share those lessons and kind of build the infrastructure there. I mean, that was another sort of collaborative project that we're considering too, is kind of facilitating a work group that is about communications here and marketing and how to actually reach people. So, and it seems like there's a lot of interest from the Katahdin Collaborative in us leaning into that area as well. And libraries are all about information, so it
Absolutely.
seemed like there's gonna be something in that. It's just not fully baked yet, but we can
Okay.
connect back with you all when it is a little bit more formed. Because if people don't have information, none of this other stuff
It doesn't, yeah.
matters. Gets to them.
I agree. All right, thank you, Michelle. And I was just thinking, it was in our meeting minutes and stuff, as far as the rice and bean distribution at the,
Oh, yeah.
at the Christmas party, that went really well. Barbara was there and I was there and Andrew was there, for a while, and they got, I don't know, 3 or 4 boxes, people.
Yeah, and what was left behind, I was
Yes.
able to direct people.
Too, yeah, yeah, so that was a good venue
So
for
it's all
that.
gone.
And had a chance to chat with some people, and it was a social thing, so, yeah, thank you for that partnership. That worked. And I know I have, there's at least 3 members of our group here that are attending the age-friendly masterclass that the Maine Center on Aging is offering, so thank you, Tom, Robin, and Michelle for signing up, doing the Lenacket proud.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. So more people will have more information and resources and broaden our reach over time. Anything else?
Think snow.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like starting tonight at what time, yeah. No.
Can I ask a dumb question?
There's no dumb questions, Nina.
I'm just, with this knowledgeable group of people, does anyone know of other resources for stopgap heating fuel assistance? Because, we're still operating that for now. We're phasing that out as the funding, as we get to the bottom of all of that funding. It's not something that we can continue to do here in the long term, but there's still such a need outside of LIHEAP. And we're just trying to learn more about other options. This is a huge, bigger issue, but just if you're aware of any leads, we want to learn more.
Don't at least one of the oil companies, don't they have their own personal program? Not
Or
right here in
or what about the
Millinocket, but that come to
churches?
Millinocket.
I'm just wondering, does Herschel have something with one of the oil companies or?
I don't know what
Herschel
Herschel
mostly refers people to me.
Okay,
And then sometimes when I've helped him as much as I can, then he'll dig into his own pocket. But it's not a system.
Yeah.
Congregationalist Church in East has some money set aside for folks for heating assistance and electrical bills. But yeah, there's not a lot.
Not
and-
deep pockets, yeah.
No, and it's overall, heating assistance is what I get the most calls
Okay.
for every week. I mean, I had 5 today.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Often, ends up helping people with other stuff, but that's like
Absolutely.
the thing that is bringing them
Yes,
to the table in the first place, that
yes.
urgent need. So as we face this out, we're just trying to think what else we can direct people to, and there's such a gap. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I know I had been on a call with Penquist to know that the funding itself through Penquist that they offer is less than last year, but they're advocating the state and the national level to try to get some more monies for assistance. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's a worrisome issue. I take it home with me.
I don't know how you couldn't.
Right.
Well, that's a stuff that's, yeah.
Yeah. Is there a united way? Like, I'm just trying
Yeah.
to think, is there some bigger organization that we could start the conversation with about meeting that need gap?
would United Way know? I mean, they're
I
pretty
feel- I
much
feel-
informative, with-
Yeah, and I feel like they do a lot of fundraising in conjunction, that they're already connected to Penquist and the great, trying to
Yeah.
fill the need that I'm on other calls too, that I know that they are connected, but I don't know if it's a separate source or opportunity to get any funding. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it seems like Penquist, like who you have a connection with, and this like would know anyway, those other resources that are available to like, okay, once to plug people in. Yeah, and how would you do that at a grassroots level to raise more money here locally for
Yeah.
residents? So are your calls just basically Millinocket residents or?
No, it's Tri-Town.
It is.
And I periodically get calls from beyond that, but just due to the way that we have the thing set up, I can only help people from the Tri-Town.
Yep.
So I do unfortunately have to turn away people from other towns in the broader region sometimes.
It is the fuel assistance. Yep. And we know from past experience, people really don't utilize like warming centers and that sort of thing to get warm during the day.
Well,
Or
I
do you
mean,
feel people
during that
come here?
one storm, I
right.
mean, it wasn't well used, I think, because people with issues at home stayed home to,
Right.
make sure their house was okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's another way
Conversation.
to approach it, but doesn't necessarily solve
It doesn't,
the
no, it
root
doesn't.
issue. Yeah.
And I'll just throw out there that I don't have an exact figure, but a heavy proportion of the folks that I get calls from are either senior citizens or disabled or both. And so for many of those people, transportation is an issue. Getting
Sure.
in and out of the home is an
Yeah.
issue. So going to a warming center is
Yeah.
like a debacle.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
And so it comes down, like you said, all those folks are on very limited incomes, don't have the money to pay for the fuel to keep their. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know of people that have taken out like home equity, like have taken out loans to pay for fuel, so they have extra funding. In the winter
Tell
times.
me that, that's awful.
Yeah, yeah, so. Okay. It's always good to know what's going on in our community, and then it's hard when you
Yeah.
can't, when you don't have the resources to meet our community needs, but we need to be aware of them and. Yeah, so thank you for always keeping it real.
Yeah, of course, and I know it's a huge issue, but if anyone has any ideas of, talk to this person at United Way or talk,
Right.
we're just trying to learn more.
Okay. Oh. Nothing else is coming to mind that we need to tackle.
And a lot of discussion on where you draw the line. I mean,
Somebody talking,
I don't know,
you're exactly right. I mean, you take this thing and
that Tom.
Might be Tom's
Yeah, I
radio
don't know.
or something.
Yeah.
Or he might have been talking to somebody else.
Yeah, we just.
Okay.
Anybody on Zoom have anything to share?
Jane, you saw the thing that I sent you from the governor's office that I got
Just-
today?
Briefly, not to get into it in depth, but
Have you, yeah, I think that's something we need to keep a real close eye on, especially around transportation.
Yeah.
Because.
so is another funding, did you send it out to the group?
I sent it to the people that are on the, age-friendly
Okay,
committee.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you ought to just look at it. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
just a briefing from the governor, but it does lay out a lot of the monies that are gonna be available and how that's gonna be able to work, so. That's something we need to follow really close.
yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, so as far as a future meeting date in February 13th, if we stay to this Tuesday, like the second Tuesday of the month, and Nicole had looked ahead to see that the room was available, and you'll see on the agenda like February 13th, March 12th, April 9th, and May 14th. Just looking ahead at all those dates, staying with the same sort of schedule. I think we'll plug those in for our monthly meetings going forward. At least we can. Almost takes it up to June, where I thought we were at when we first started.
That's what you were
That's where
thinking,
I'm at.
what's next?
I know, like, okay, there we are in our June. Had all that planned out for then. And so some of us will convene again after the snowstorm tomorrow, right? So Thursday, Robin, you
That's
said pray
right,
for
yep.
snow, whatever that mess is gonna come tomorrow. And then try to get together to do some of the snow down planning on Thursday. And with that, then we will adjourn this meeting, knowing that there's many more conversations to be had going forward. So thanks, Tom. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Manager. I'll see you in a few minutes, I think.
Sounds good. Mike's here. We're having fun.
It's hold